Here we are now back at CES 2019 at the MSI booth. They've got some really cool new products on display. We're taking a look at the laptops today. If you guys didn't see the RTX 2060 announcement, they're actually showcasing some of those RTX laptops with those graphics cards going inside. Now, two of those GPUs will be Max-Q designs. We've got the 2070 and the 2080 going into a really small form factor. We're talking 2.25 kilograms in weight. And MSI makes this happen because they're using the Trinity 3 cooling solution, which they say has 47 blades and weighs really light. It's really thin, and it's also got 3 different fans, making sure that these graphics cards don't overheat in a small form factor. And this is in an aluminum chassis, so it's actually high quality. They're using for the key switches, Steel Series membranes. But what else is going on with this laptop? Let's take a look, and then we'll move on to another laptop that they got. And then after that, another laptop again. And it's the last day of CES, so even though my voice is blowing out, these laptops are definitely in. Welcome back to Tech Yes City, and right here is the GS75 Stealth. That's the official name for it. It's a 17.3-inch laptop. It has a 144 Hz AU Optronics 1080p monitor inside. They're claiming a 3 millisecond response time. It does look very sharp. I think they're using an AHVA panel because the viewing angles are pretty good on top of that. Now, starting prices for these laptops, we're talking $2,099 with an RTX 2060, and that's actually not a Max-Q design. For the CPU, you're getting an i7-8750H, which has a 6-core, 12-threaded processor. It's quite a beast CPU for a laptop. Now, with the SSDs, 256 gigabytes starting. There's also room for expandability, so you can add another 2 SSDs in there, whether it be a 2.5-inch form factor or another NVMe SSD on top of that. So you've definitely got room to expand the storage. And since they aren't putting hard drives in, your typical bigger hard drives, they have only left room for SSD expandability, since the thin bezel is coming into play, and this laptop does look very sleek. Now, a little bit onto the lighting itself. They did make a point of showing me a demo of a new technology going in it. If you guys don't remember from last year's Computex, they had the Mystic lighting, which was all this synced up lighting that can be controlled via software. Now, behind me, they've got some nano leaves, and they're playing a game that reacts to the ambient going on in the game. So if things change, the lighting can dim, can also change colors depending on the RGB lights you're using, and this is linked up to the laptop itself, so it can help give you a more immersive feeling, as well as all the individual backlight key lighting controls on the keyboard itself. So very fancy laptop with the GS75 Stealth. I like the look of this thing. I like what they're doing with the hardware, and of course it's playing a demo right behind me with good FPS, and the noise is really low. It's quite some of the lowest noise I've heard coming out of the laptop so far. Behind me now is the P63 Modern. They're taking a different approach as opposed to the gaming GS75 Stealth laptop, in that they're making it more for video creators with expandability of memory up to DDR4 32 gigabytes. They're also putting an i7-8565U in that does help with the power consumption a lot. With the GS75 Stealth, gaming, the battery life isn't a whole lot, somewhere over an hour to 2 hours depending on the settings you use, and the idle times on that just using the desktop was about 8 hours. This, however, 16 is the magic number. 16 hours battery life, 1.6 kilos or 1,600 grams, and also 16 millimeters thick. So it's got a very slim bezel, it's very small, it's very lightweight, and it's also coming in with the specs that you need to get work done, but also not use a whole lot of power. Now, for the keycaps, they're still using the Steel Series special membrane switches that they've collaborated with Steel Series 4, and that indeed gives you a better typing experience than a mechanical keyboard. And for the screen, they're also going with the 1080p IPS 16 Hz solution. I just got you there. It's actually 60 Hz, 16 being the magical number. But we've also got on this a new extended mouse pad. They're calling it a glass surface, and it's as big as a phablet, so it's quite a big size. If you are into touchpads and you want something that's very smooth, very easy to use, then this laptop is definitely going to deliver that. Now, in terms of asking price, it's starting out with $1,599 price tag. It is released into the wild from today, as opposed to the GS75 Stealth, which is coming on January 29th. But just like the GS75 Stealth, it's also got extra room for expandability compatibility on SSD drives, being as the base model comes in with a 256GB solution. If you're a content creator, you may wish to add in an extra 2 terabytes or 1 terabyte drive. This allows you to do that. But other solutions they've included on the Modern is a fingerprint scanner, as well as a web camera that goes up the top of the laptop, allowing you to communicate without looking up at your nostrils, same as the GS75 Stealth, which is quite a common complaint on laptops. That is not happening with the Modern or the Stealth either. And then the last thing they've featured on this laptop that they make a pretty point of is the Qualcomm charging point to quickly charge your smartphone in as little as 35 minutes. And that's about all for the laptops here at the MSI booth. There's those 2 new models coming to the market. They're very excited about it. If you are into laptops, this is definitely going to deliver something that's small, easy to carry, and has the goods to deliver. Now behind me they do have a concept that is in the making. It's slated for an April release, but that is a 4K screen, IPS, ultra high definition in a 15.6-inch form factor, just like the Modern. Pretty much similar specs, but it's got a big 4K screen if you need that, especially for video editing. That is very useful to get that extra screen space in Adobe Premiere, for example. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. If you enjoyed this one, then be sure to hit that like button. Let us know in the comments section below what you think of these laptops, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Peace out for now. Bye.